Hello, everyone. Welcome or welcome back to Rich Martini. I hope you're doing well and I hope you're having an amazing day. I'm recording this episode in a bit of a haste. I have one day to record my podcast, start and finish 3 deadlines, and go to work and then get my luggage ready and leave for Bulgaria. So, everyone send thoughts and prayers because I'll need them. Just a little update on my throat situation from last week. Guys, it keeps getting worse and worse, and I don't know what to do. And I'm actually scared for when I have to travel because also in Bulgaria it is colder. So I don't want to end up in a throat hospital or whatever. I told you the universe doesn't want me to donate blood for whatever reason. I don't know. But today in my lecture, I was fighting demons, trying not to cough my lungs out. And when you're trying to hold in a cough, that's the only thing you can think about. And the more you think about it, the worse it gets. And at a certain point, it's difficult for you to actually breathe. And you just start sounding like someone gasping for air, but you're also choking while trying to gasp for air. And you're trying to do it, of course, in a subtle way because you don't want to be disruptive. And then you feel like you'll throw up and it's like a life or death situation, like apply Heimlich on me situation because the suppressed cough just simply wants to get out and it feels like it's going up to your brain and it's about to literally explode. Or is that just me? And I know it's not healthy for me to do this, but I also don't want to be disruptive and disrespectful by coughing. So I'd very much rather choke on a suppressed cough. And I think that just sums me up as a person pretty nicely. Another update from last week's episode. So, do you remember how I told you the second the clock would struck midnight, I would feel better? Well, to be honest, I did feel immediate relief. There's no denying it. But this week is no better when it comes to workload. And it's just sending me down a spiral in the sense that will my life be always and forever like this? Like purely surviving, barely pushing through, barely making it out, waiting for a stressful day to be over just for a more stressful one to come and replace it? What a sad existence, honestly. I don't want to have to look forward to the day, the week, the month, or the year to end for my life to begin or get better. I just don't want my time to pass to be able to start breathing again. I just want to be able to enjoy my time, even the stressful situations, because inevitably there will be a lot of stressful situations. And I don't want to just survive. I want to actually live. I don't want, metaphorically speaking, to live from paycheck to paycheck. And again, I don't mean money. Metaphorically speaking, I mean more in the sense that I don't want to have to live a life that is constrained by the heaps of stress I endure on the daily basis and constrained by the scrapes of whatever balance and peace I have within me. Does that make sense? Sometimes I feel like I make too posh and abstract statements for the sake of simply saying something, but I just can't find the proper words to verbalize my thoughts and emotions because I think and respectively feel them. I don't speak them. Why am I acting so wannabe philosopher-like? I literally have no clue what is going on. And in my attempts to figure it out myself, I just sound pretentious and so out of touch. And I think that just sums me up as a person pretty nicely. So I say let's keep it to the realm of actual lived experiences and not go above and beyond trying to figure out what they all mean. They don't necessarily have to mean something, at least for now, of course. So let's go back. Rewind. My week. So this week, it is, I kid you not, only Tuesday, but I have the feeling like it's been a month already. When I have so much to tend to, especially when it's right before I go home, my perception of time is so messed up. And the lack of sleep is making the days longer time-wise and far harder anything-wise. That's one of my goals for when I go back home, to try and go back to my proper sleep routine, my proper sleep schedule, and just feel well rested, because the sleep that I've gone into the past 3 months is generational. And let me tell you what doesn't help. What most definitely didn't help in these circumstances is seeing that my jeans ripped in the thigh/crotch area. And I am sad to announce that, yet again, another pair has fallen victim to my thighs. And nonetheless, my favorite and most comfortable and most cherished pair of jeans. So the mourning is real, because finding a proper pair of jeans is such a difficult mission, a mission impossible, if you will, that usually takes me so long to fulfill, if I am able to fulfill it. And no matter how good jeans I find, they always rip within a couple of months because of this. The same situation over and over again, always in the same way, always in the same spot. If you have experienced this, you know what I'm talking about. There is friction forming when you walk and the denim fabric just starts to wear out. And I don't know if this happens if you have a gap between your thighs. I would assume not, but if someone knows, actually, please let me know. I'm curious if it's a universal experience, no matter your body type, no matter your structure, no matter whatever. And the thing is, the fabric becomes thinner and thinner, and you're not noticing it until it's too late. Because one day, your entire inner thigh is out for the world to see. And what made it an absolute instance to remember is that this happened in university, and TMI, 2 minutes after I got my period. So very fun indeed. And right after university, I had to go to work. So I had to work like this, and then I was supposed to meet a friend in the city center, but I was like, girl, no, I'm sorry. I promise you I didn't plan this, but so and so happened. I just cannot be in public right now. So we're going to mine, because I just couldn't handle it anymore. And let's just say that until I got home, I was walking in a very curious way, because I didn't have anything to cover with. And if someone saw my inner thigh, I'm sorry, or you're welcome, whatever applies to your situation. And this entire situation reminded me of an instance that happened a couple of years ago. So I was having terrible munchies. And I mean, I was so extremely hungry. I could eat an entire horse by myself and still ask for a sweet treat afterwards, because there's always space for a sweet treat. Like, come on, what are we talking about? But I want you to imagine hunger like you've never known before. Like District 12 type of hunger. I don't think I've ever been more hungry in my life since that day. Like, this is the day of hunger. And I was at my grandparents, and if there's one thing you should know about Balkan grandparents, it is the fact that they will feed you. And I mean, feed you. They always have at least two different dishes when their grandchildren are coming over, and they have an entire drawer with just candy and pastries and oh my god, like diabetes in a cupboard, not cardboard, cupboard. Those are two very different things. Anyways, so English isn't Englishing as per usual, but the horse persists, but so do I. So those, like your grandparents, your Balkan grandparents, they would open different jars for you to eat dips and pickled vegetables that they made just for you over the summer and the 45-degree heat. And that day, there was no better place for me to be to satiate my hunger. Now, I think it's pretty funny that I had to go to gymnastics right after me visiting my grandparents because and it's funny because I had just swallowed my weight in food and was supposed to go jump up and down on a trampoline for 3 hours straight, but man, was that a humbling moment. So let's just get into it. At my grandparents' house, I don't have any spare clothes. Let's just preface it like this. So I kid you not, I eat an entire loaf of bread because bread back then, bread from my childhood, it was something else. It was so soft on the inside and crunchy on the outside, and you could just munch on it so easily because it was simply delicious. They don't make bread like this anymore. Make bread great again. Anyways, so I ate an entire loaf. Then I ate a couple servings of what as far as I remember, was a bean soup. I'm not too sure. And then I, of course, had some sweets because you cannot have a meal and then not have something sweet afterwards. Like, that's just not how God intended. So, just your regular competitive gymnast things. And then on my way out to practice, I dropped something and I bent over to take it. And I think you know where I'm going with this. So I bent over and I just hear a terrible ripping sound. The very recognizable sound of threads just ripping apart. And I run immediately to the mirror just to see my ass fully out. And I just remember being in complete shock and not knowing what to do. The thing is, that day I knew as I was doing it, I knew I was eating a lot. But it felt like I had a hole in my stomach. Like I was being concerned that I had parasites because I was like, why am I eating so much and I'm still hungry? And I think my grandparents were concerned as well because they were like, girl, like those were our groceries until the end of the week. And I fully paid for this. And let me tell you, it didn't necessarily affect my body image positively. So now it is a fun story to laugh at back, like looking back. But back then I was mortified. Still, as much as I laugh at this story, I know I will never, ever be able to say I haven't ripped my pants from eating too much. And again, that just sums up the type of person I am. After that moment, my day is a little bit blurry in my memory because I think my mind was just like, nope, retract statement. We're trying to delete this from our memory and we are trying to avoid creating a long-lasting life trauma. Well, here I am speaking on the internet about it. So I think what I did, because again, I don't have much recollection, but I know I didn't have any other clothes. I think what I just did was I wrapped my jacket around my waist, even though it was cold, and I was just like, oh no, I'm cool, like I'm chill, like it's warm enough. I don't need a jacket. That's why it's around my waist, and I'm not wearing it. It's me saying as I'm shivering. So I went to practice, and then I'm pretty sure I left in my gymnastics clothes. How humbling. I know. But if you had access to my grandma's cooking, trust me, you would be ripping pants left and right, day in, day out. I'm just so excited that just in a couple of hours, practically days, I'm going to have an entire tray of her pumpkin puff pastry baked good, because that's the thing I asked for specifically 2 months ago, and I just cannot wait to devour it. That dessert, the image of it, the smell and taste I can almost sense. They are the only thing that's keeping me going in these trying times. And that just sums me up pretty nicely as a person. But also, can we just please, pretty please, with a cherry on top, cherry that I'm going to eat, even though it means that I'll probably rip my pants, can we just please start making better material jeans, more durable jeans that I will not have to throw away after, I don't know, 6 months? Thank you. Because what do you mean to tell me jeans were developed for coal miners and were the extremely durable material back then? That's why they were for coal miners, because they were protective. And now I get like a couple of months wear of them and they're just gone. And trust me, I'm not out in the coal mines. Like, I'm not down there. I'm up here, as I mentioned earlier, District 12, not District 13. So I'm up on surface level. How are they durable down there and not here? And I talked to one of my classmates today, and she was like, yeah, so I actually have had these jeans since I was 16. And I was like, girl, how? Like, am I buying the wrong brands? I swear, fast fashion has ruined fashion in the sense of durability, and it has ruined the world in the sense of everything for the sake of a quick buck. And I hate this so much. Like, I know that there's a Netflix documentary which explores this and shows the behind the scenes, and I would love to watch it and read upon it and just become more knowledgeable on the topic. But I need, first of all, the mental capacity to get properly angry, because this is something worth getting angry over. So give me a couple of weeks and I will be there. Trust me, I will be there. I will be angryable. I will be there, glued to the screen, repost by the capitalistic system winning yet again. But for me personally, shopping for jeans is so extremely annoying and unnecessarily stressful. And I think that just sums up nicely the type of person I am. Because I can never find jeans that fit my waist and fit my thighs and fit my bum all at the same time. And it's just extremely frustrating. And every single time I try on a pair of jeans, the ones that fit my thighs are 3 times larger than what my waist is. And the ones that fit my waist, I cannot even get over my thighs. Now, I'm not saying that I am thick. Like, if you've seen me, I'm not thick. I'm not saying that I'm built like a Disney mom. I'm just saying that I have hips. I just have hips. And those hips, they don't lie. Neither do Shakira's. Neither do mine. So, do you know what I learned recently? That men have to use belts because they simply don't have hips the way women do, and their pants would just fall down if they didn't use a belt. But women, we have a more well-defined waist and curves overall. So our clothes are simply designed differently. Like, I could be fully wrong. Actually, I could be fully lying to you because I think I heard about this from Giggly Squad, if I'm not mistaken. And if there's one thing these girls emphasize, it is that everything they say has to be fact checked and they're just here for shits and giggles. But I choose to believe them because I support women in the arts. And also because, well, I just want to believe them. I should probably double check with my friend who studied fashion and she'll explain to me the anatomy that's taken into consideration in the making of clothes, because I would imagine the human body is considered when you make clothes for the human body, but although no, actually, full shade. I don't think Zara takes into consideration the human body because I've never had a piece of clothing from Zara that fit me even remotely nicely. And I'm like, girl, people come in more than 2 sizes. I really wish you would consider not just size inclusivity in the sense of having from XXS to XXL or beyond those, but like also actually taking into consideration the different curves of a body and making clothes that would accommodate different curves and accommodate different body shapes, and not just like, because a shirt that is worn by a woman with a small chest would look very differently than the same shirt being worn by a woman who has a large chest. Anyways, but until I figure out if this belt male female situation, until I figure out if it's true, let's just say that what I mentioned is true. And you know what? Go on. Spread misinformation and unverified information. Like, that is literally the entire point of the internet, isn't it? Might as well. So, what I'm trying to get at with all those zigzaggy stories, what I'm trying to get at is that having thighs is a blessing and a curse at the same time. And every single time I'm in a changing room, because if I'm going to wear jeans, and I don't think jeans are comfortable. So if I'm going to wear jeans, if I have to, I need to make sure that I'm buying a pair that I feel comfortable in. A pair that doesn't make me want to off myself, and a pair that doesn't suffocate me and doesn't make me want to take my uterus out. So every single time I'm in the changing room, I am making some con dance moves, some interpretative dance style actions, and making sure that I have I have unlimited range of movement. Even though I'm never going to have to bend over backwards and do the splits in my jeans, but it's just nice to know I have the option to if I wanted to. But like, honestly, who knows? In 2016, I climbed Mount Olympus. Yeah, the Greek god's mountain. I climbed it in skinny jeans from Bershka. I ripped on the knee, super skinny, high-waisted jeans, because that was just the vibe back then. That was Coachella 2016 at the time. Like, as Kendall Jenner would say, I fully butchered this quote, but you know what I'm trying to get at. And I'm so happy I don't vibe with this vibe anymore, because, okay, what were we all collectively thinking? Super skinny, high-waisted jeans are just not it. I'm sorry. And this is coming from someone who wore super skinny, high-waisted jeans for 5 years straight. They are just not it. I am telling you, flare jeans, like white jeans, the day they became available in stores and became a sort of a trend, my life was changed forever and for the better. I'm not saying never, but I most likely will never go back to skinny jeans because I just don't think they're comfortable. But did I climb the mountain of the Greek gods in ripped super skinny jeans from Bershka and knockoff Nikes? I did. And I think that's just purely iconic. That's why I love my trusty fabric pants and sweatpants and leggings. Even though when I was in high school, I didn't wear leggings for the entirety of my high school experience. Even though prior to high school, I only exclusively really wore leggings. But someone, I don't remember who exactly it was, but someone told me that if I were to wear leggings in high school, I would be considered a whore. And I would just be made fun of because, well, you're in high school. I've been made fun of for less. So I was just so scared to actually wear leggings, and I only wore jeans, which now looking back, what the actual fuck? That's so messed up. But I was a child and I didn't know better, and I didn't tell anybody why I did this style change. And now I honestly don't give a single flying fuck, and I'm like, I'm going to wear whatever the fuck I want and whatever the fuck I feel comfortable in. So I think this is what you should do too. If super skinny, high-waisted Bershka jeans are your faith, then wear them proudly. Wear them proudly and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Me the least, because I have no clue what is going on with the fashion world and realm of existence, because I am not a super stylish person. If I could live in sweatpants, I so totally would. So wear whatever it is you want, wear whatever makes you feel good about yourself, wear whatever makes you feel comfortable within your own skin and gives you confidence. It's just clothes. They should not be given the power to determine our social status and our well-being. And that's on that. So, for me personally, comfort is a priority when it comes to the way I dress. And if I ever come out with a clothing line, you can count on me. I promise I am betting my left thumb that I'm going to make it wearable and comfortable and cute, subjectively. And I'm not going to make it constrained. I'm not going to make it suffocating, and I'm not going to make it want to cut off your hip bone so that you can fit in it. I promise. And again, that just sums up the type of person I am. Wait, another thing. I was fighting demons in class, not only because of my cough. I love how I'm reverting back to the very first thing I told you, but like, that's just the type of person I am. I'm just a chill guy. So, I was fighting demons in class, not only because of my cough, but also because I was trying so hard not to fall asleep, because for the past month, I've been running, no exaggeration, no over exaggeration, which is usually what I'm known for. But truthfully, I've been running on 5 hours of sleep each day, and it is catching up on me. Today, I came across this picture on Instagram on what a person potentially would look like in 25 years if they kept on getting only 6 hours of sleep per night. And let me tell you, no amount of moisturizer and sunscreen and plastic surgery would help me. But beauty aside, with this messed up sleep schedule, I think it's just simply very difficult to function, stay sharp, and have a non-foggy mind. And today I just simply couldn't exist because I woke up early. Well, if you consider 7:30 early, but in my world, this is early. And keep in mind that I haven't been able to go to bed earlier than 3 for quite some time for whatever reason. So I woke up to go to my lecture, and at 7:30 it was completely pitch black outside still, and I didn't want to get out of bed, and it was cold. So as you can imagine, I just wanted to snooze my alarm to like scissor snoop type of thing it, and just go back to sleep. But I didn't have the choice to. So I went to university, and then I had a 4-hour gap between my lectures. And I originally was planning on staying at in campus and studying, but I had such a terrible migraine that I just I just came back home. I couldn't take a nap, unfortunately, because I was figuring out Christmas gifts, which is always so extremely time consuming and so straight up stressful. And later I was working on my assignments and so on and so forth. And I went back for a lecture at 3 until 5. And I'm telling you, that lecture, it was in a very dim lit room and very comfortable chairs. And I was full on falling asleep. It was throwing me back to when, I kid you not, I had lectures in a cinema. I had lectures in a cinema room because it was a subject that was about movies and audiovisual productions and how to analyze them, how to understand them, how to understand the production of it all. So it was throwing me back to those times because, like, who the hell hosts classes in a cinema and expects people to be able to take notes? Because I am literally in a cinema chair, and how am I supposed to take notes? And how am I supposed to stay awake? Like, the mathing. But, like, it was Faculty of Arts, no math. So when has ever something made sense in the Faculty of Arts? And this is coming from someone who misses the Faculty of Arts so much. Like, I cannot do it in the Faculty of Economics and Business anymore. Anyways, so in that lecture, I was dozing off. Like, I was fully closing my eyes. I was trying my best not to do that. But what is even more ridiculous is that at the same time, I was trying to take notes. And you know how sometimes when you're falling asleep, right when you're on the brink of fully being unconscious, you just get this burst of energy for like 1 or 2 minutes. And it's just basically the same type of adrenaline rush you get as you do when you feel like you're about to fall down from the bed, right as you're about to fall asleep. I don't know why that is a thing. So if someone knows, please let me know because I'm curious. But after this adrenaline rush that you get for whatever reason, you don't fall asleep, and then you're just back into it, like you're back into the consciousness and the sharpness, but like just for a little short amount of time, because then the adrenaline tires you even more. So in those short snippets of mind clarity and awakeness, I would just take a look at all the notes I was quote unquote taking of the lecture. And apparently, while dozing off, I was just writing down what I was starting to dream about. And I think that's just hilarious. The thing is, I got so worried because the class is recorded and I don't know where the camera is. And I was sat in the first row, so I didn't know if you could like see me like fully falling asleep and typing things that are not to be typed in a lecture that's on mobile advertising. So I was deleting everything when I realized that it's not topic related. So I deleted everything, and because it was still blurry in my mind, I don't remember what it was, but I'm so curious to know what it was. And and what's even more curious, I don't remember in what language it was. which is even more hilarious because I know I was typing with the Latin alphabet, but was I typing in Bulgarian or was I typing English? Or maybe some other language that I didn't even know I could dream in. I would imagine, honestly, that it was in English because I was listening to a lecture in English, and I promise you, I fully didn't mean to be disrespectful to the teacher. He just speaks in such a soft, monotone voice, and he just speaks about things I don't understand because everything is so statistical analysis related, and we all know how I feel about those things. And I know that if I'm sleeping through the lectures, I'm not going to understand them better, but it's just very difficult to stay sharp when all you want to do is lay down. And this just reminds me of how in year 2, I was taking a course called Media History. And because of COVID, my lectures were pre-recorded and they were posted online. And when I was trying to prepare for the exam, every single time I would just lay in my bed trying to watch the recordings of the lecture. And every single time I would just fall asleep and I could not get through a single lecture because I just found this was such a terrible subject. Like, I'm not good with history. I find it interesting to listen. I don't find it good to learn and memorize. So and what's funny is that when I was struggling with insomnia, I I cracked the code to my sleepless nights and I just started playing the recordings because I had them saved, and I would just fall asleep. It worked like a magic every single time. But then I deleted them, and now whenever I want to fall asleep but I'm unable to, I just really wish I had those recordings because they were such a lifesaver. And if those teachers didn't teach me much, they at least helped me fall asleep. And for that, I'm forever grateful. And this also just reminded me of this situation a couple of years ago. Look at me snowballing. Like, oh, I'm writing so many research papers right now, and like I'm snowball researching for citations. So excuse me. Anyway, so a couple of years ago, I was graduating high school, so I was in the 12th grade, so which would be 2021. Oh my god, I'm old. I graduated almost 4 years ago. Time is flying by. I need to be thinking about retirement, even though in this job market, it is difficult to find a proper job, let alone think about retirement. But let's not go down that spiral because I will just simply cry. So I had reached the national level of a literature competition, so the Literature Olympics of Bulgaria, if you so wish. And basically what you do in these literature competitions is you write analysis and you write essays, and it's on a very high level. It requires a lot of extracurricular preparation, and the stakes were high in the sense that if you got a grade above 5.5, and in Bulgaria 6 is the maximum you can get, don't ask me why. I know the numerical system we have makes no sense because the lowest grade is 2 and the highest is 6. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. But if you got a 5.5 or above, you could be excused from taking your literature final and, just chill, which would be ideal. So if I'm telling you this story, you can probably imagine that I didn't get a 5.5. And let me tell you why I still had to go to my literature final, even though I was fully prepared, well prepared for that literature competition final. I was just not in the mental and physical condition to take that exam and write the heck out of that analysis I was supposed to. So the day before my competition, and the thing is, my teacher was very much counting on me because I think they get some sort of bonuses if their students perform well on such high levels. I'm sorry, Miss Ma'am. I should probably get you a bottle of wine and a box of chocolates to apologize for letting you down, like I do with every single person in my life. And that just sums me up as a person pretty nicely. So, the day before my competition, I went out with my friend group, and one of our friends was back home from the US, and we just went to his place, and we stayed there until I would say 3 or 4 a.m. And then I took my best friend, and we went to our town's university to watch the sunrise. And I literally, in a completely empty parking lot, like there was just this one car, and me being the annoying person I am, I decided to park right next to it just to see that the people were having sex. um I'm such a cock block, and I would like to formally apologize for ruining those people's moment. But that was the best spot to watch the sunrise, which is, I guess, why they also chose to park there, because the view was totally unobstructed. And after I realized what's going on, I felt uncomfortable, as you can imagine. So we just drove away, and then we went to this one lake where we took a long walk, and we're just talking. And it's still to this day one of my favorite days of my entire life up until this point, because it was just so peaceful. I felt so youthful and so carefree. To this day, we just refer to this as the beautiful day. And my friend and I immediately know what we're talking about and what we were feeling in that moment. If I could relive one day from my high school years, and trust me, you could not pay me enough to go back to high school, but I would love to relive that day, because it was simply so much coming of age teen rom-com coded, and I just loved it. And we were at that lake until I would say 7:38-ish. And then I drove her to her place, and I went to school because the competition started at around 9-ish. So I didn't have the time to go home. I just grabbed a croissant. Am I pronouncing this correctly? I am always so nervous when I have to pronounce the word croissant in English because, well, it's French. And I just feel like I always sound like Tom Holland, who says quacks in that one interview. So if I'm mispronouncing it, I apologize. But I grabbed a croissant and I went to write, or at least attempt to write, an essay. And my supervisor in the competition was the principal of the school. And you know how some teachers breathe respect into you? She's kind of that type of teacher. But she wasn't initially the supervisor. The supervisor was I don't remember who the supervisor was. But I was writing and writing and writing. And then I just wake up. Not even realizing that I've fallen asleep, because I've been awake for more than 26 hours at this point, and I was required to be extremely academically sharp. But as you can imagine, that simply was not the case. So I wake up and I just see the principal of the school right in front of me, staring at me with this smile, signaling either anger, threat, or pity. I still cannot tell. And when I tell you I've never woken up faster, please believe me. I don't remember what I did in this competition. I don't remember what the essay was about. I just know it wasn't sufficient for me to not have to take my final exam. And that must have left such a bad aftertaste in my principal's opinion of me, but it was stronger than me. Guys, can you tell that my nose is getting stuffy as I speak and I can barely breathe? Anyway, so honestly, tiredness is not to be overlooked. And I know as a society, we tend to diminish it, and we tend to force each other to soldier through it. But it is a significantly determining factor of your performance and your overall health and like stability. Because if you don't get enough rest, You don't have the time to recover, and your body doesn't function at the level it's supposed to. So I just cannot wait to go back home, literally in a day and a half, a couple of hours, if you will, and just get there, take a hot shower in a bathroom that has a proper water pressure, not like the one I have here. And after that, I will lay on my hard mattress and just snore through the night. I don't snore, but you know what I mean. Although with this nose getting stuffier, no, I don't snore. Snoring is one of my biggest pet peeves. And if you snore, I fear we cannot be friends. And that just sums up the type of person I am. Help, like this is my new catchphrase. I cannot stop saying it. My brain is so rotten because of TikTok, which is why I need the app immediately off my phone. Because I'm so chronically online, which is great for niche references, but it is terrible for my attention span. Speaking of attention span, I just want to tell you about my experience with Wicked, which I went to see last week. So I will be giving away spoilers. So if you don't want to listen because you plan on watching it, then go watch it and come back again. If you don't mind spoilers, just keep on listening. And if not, this episode ends for you here. I will give you a couple of seconds to pause and exit, and I hope to see you in the next one. So, Wicked. Maybe first it is important for me to outline my personal relationship to musicals. And in particular, that relationship is very much outlined by my hatred towards musicals. I don't find them captivating. I find them quite annoying, honestly. I don't think they're the best way to tell a story, even though I've already told you before that I'm someone who reads so much into lyrics and takes music so seriously when it comes to capturing an experience and communicating that experience. But I don't know, when it comes to musicals as movies or as theater, they're just not my thing. I'm not their audience. However, the one and only exception is High School Musical. And this just reminds me of how when I went to my host family in England, and the very first time I'm meeting them, we're sitting around the dinner table and talking to each other, and they don't know me. I don't know them. I want them to like me. I will be living with them in their home for the next couple of months. So naturally, I want us to start off on the right foot. And my host mom and my host sister, they were very much musical fans, and they turned to me super excited, and they were telling me about their experiences and how they got into it, it is their thing. And they were like, so do you like musicals? And I just said, well, I like High School Musical. And when I tell you, the silence was deafening. Please trust me, this still keeps me up at night, and I think it will haunt me forever and ever in my life. Troy Bolton, what did you do to me? So, going to see Wicked was a bit of a conflicting experience because of my dislike for musicals, but my love for Ariana Grande. I think she's the voice of our generation. I think she has such an angelic voice that I've been admiring since I was a child, because I was such a Victorious super fan. And then I watched Sam and Cat religiously. So I've been loving Ariana Grande my entire life. And of course, I wanted to support her in this thing that she has been working towards her entire career. And that project I know took a long time to put together, and it was supposedly going to be the movie of the year. So I knew I wanted to see it, even though I don't like musical. Now the thing is, subtitles in Dutch cinemas, as you can imagine, are in Dutch, even if the movie is voiced in English. And I don't know why, but I have a really difficult time hearing lyrics when it comes to just listening to songs, like normal songs, not songs from a movie soundtrack. I need to first read the lyrics to be able to fully comprehend what's going on, because a lot of the times with the different enunciations and the different sounds that all come together. It is just, I find it difficult to understand what's going on. So this was one of my biggest concerns, and as you can imagine, it very much materialized, especially when they were singing the high pitched notes. I am telling you, in the opening scene, most, if not all of it, no one mourns the wicked. I did not understand it. And this really gave me such a oopsie daisy thing that I was not going to be able to understand anything from the movie, because I know if like the entire thing is going to be a musical or if it's just going to be including dialogue that's not being sung. And let me tell you, so I don't like musicals. I don't know if I mentioned it ever before, but I don't like musicals. And when I tell you, no musical has captured me like Wicked did, oh my god. I just think the storyline was so well executed. I know a lot of people think that the singing was a bit over the top, a little bit excessive at times. I don't think so. I think it was extremely well paced, and those 3 hours simply flew by, and I was left wanting more. Also, everybody on in that cast has an amazing voice that I would just love to listen to every single day. Oh my god, Cynthia, what are you? Oh my god, girl. Also, aesthetically speaking, the media studies geek inside of me was freaking out. The universe they built was so extremely beautiful and aesthetically pleasing. I just wanted to be a part of it. And their outfits, Ariana and Cynthia's outfits, they were mesmerizing. But especially Ariana's outfits because, well, she's Glinda. So the way she looks is very important. But her dresses, oh my god, I need them. I need them. But the more significant reason the media studies geek within me was freaking out was because of the storyline. The standout moment for me, oh my god, I'm fully losing my voice. The standout moment for me, apart from defying gravity, because I know we were joking collectively, but I am full on holding space with the lyrics of defying gravity. Even if Cynthia was confused in that interview, even if Ariana was confused in that interview, even if everyone who was in that room was confused about the interview because I was confusing, I fully understand what they were trying to get at. I am holding space with the lyrics of defying gravity and finding power into it or in it or whatever. But the standout moment for me, and me being a sucker for symbolism, was how the movie opened with No One Mourns the Wicked, and it's basically a scene celebrating the death of the Wicked Witch of the West, and then the very first solo performance by Elphaba, who would then become the Wicked Witch of the West, was how she is one day going to prove herself so well that Oz is going to have a celebration in her honor. But the thing is, that celebration that we were showed in the beginning was Oz having a celebration in her honor because she died. And the solo that she's giving is at the beginning of her journey. So I just think this was extremely fascinating foreshadowing, and I just cannot wait to see the way they develop the storyline in the second part of the movie. And the movie actually made me tear up multiple times because simply, I'm such an animal lover. And seeing the goat being caged and animals losing their right to speak, and that little baby, I don't remember if it was like a jaguar, a tiger, or a lion, but it was being caged as well and being so scared, and I nearly got up and left because I couldn't handle it anymore. My heart was breaking. So honestly, to everyone who participated in the making of this movie, a massive shout out to you because you're making me rethink my relationship to musicals. And I have two more things to say before I go. One of them is, no, actually three. I was so, maybe not 3. You know what? Let's just say it and then I'll go. I was so stunned to see that the original cast of Wicked was part of the movie. And I just think this is such a beautiful way to honor them. And I really appreciate that they did this because I don't think the movie would have existed without the musical on Broadway. Second thing, why does Jonathan Bailey, a gay man, have to be so heterosexually attractive? Can he please not? This is painful. Oh, also, every single time they were referencing the Yellow Brick Road, I was thinking about Nicki Minaj's verse that's like, Yellow Brick Road. He said that I am a whiz at it. I'm so sorry for singing. Who do I think I am? And lastly, people's loud chewing. People's loud existence within the cinema. People's constant kicking off my seat. People's entitlement to put their feet on top of the seat in front of them. I am repulsed. Have you no shame? Have you no etiquette? And I just find it very difficult to listen to lyrics, as I already mentioned, but it is even more difficult when people around you are chewing with their mouth open. And can we please figure out a way to, I don't know, just a thought. Just give headphones for people to just listen to the audio of the movie so that everyone can have a pleasant experience and undisturbed experience. Just a little thought. Also, this is the first time I've experienced applause in a cinema after a movie being showed. I've never had this before, so it was very interesting, but I felt like I was in an airplane where people like clap after we land. But, until we all collectively revolutionize cinema going, I just say thank you for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, stay hydrated, wear sunscreen, and don't support genocide. Bye!